And because I personally faced racism, I do understand what it feels to be treated a certain way. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Monish. Today we're going to speak about something different. And what we're going to speak about will relate mainly to people who want to go overseas to either live or study, or even for people who are wondering what it is like living overseas and studying and working. So I came to Australia as a 21-year-old. I was young, naive, immature, delusional. I believed that the entire world was supposed to bow down for me. Why? Just because I thought they would. And obviously they didn't, because that's not how the world works. I came here as someone who was not good at studying. I wasn't good at maths. I failed a few times in maths in school, and I ended up becoming a chartered accountant. Now that process entailed a lot of hard work. It entailed going through a lot of sacrifices, a lot of pain, a lot of struggle, and a lot of learnings. And that is what we're going to speak about today. What are the advantages and disadvantages of moving overseas? Firstly, let's talk about the things that I have learned. Australia is a very special place to me because I have grown from being a boy to a man here. It has helped me grow financially and emotionally. And through that process, it has taught me to value things, because every single thing that I've earned, it's been through a lot of hard work. It has been through a lot of sacrifice, a lot of tears. And when you earn anything in life which you put in that kind of emotion, you start valuing everything you have. When I first passed out of university, I was really naive to think that I would get a job quickly. It took me a year and a half or almost 2 years to find a job. And that process of rejection, it really humbled me. I had a bit of ego, but was never really an egoistic person. And that constant rejection, it killed even the little ego that I have. Now, how good is it to actually live a life without having much ego? I think it's pretty sweet. After coming here, I've also learned to genuinely respect every single person, regardless of what they do, regardless of they being useful to me or not. Because for a long time, I was just someone who was just above poverty line. I struggled to pay my bills, I struggled to buy groceries, I struggled to pay rent, and I did odd jobs from time to time, like dishwashing and being a waiter and mopping the floors when people had drank too much and vomited all over the floors. And I was on the other side. I was suddenly not that privileged as I was back home in India, where I'm looking at people enjoying with their friends and family, and I was there sitting washing the dishes or serving them. That is a very different experience, and it was really required for me as a person to actually become stronger and face certain mental obstacles that I would never face in my comfort zone living with my parents. Another thing was that I learned to be empathetic, and that was something I lacked: empathy. I never put myself in someone else's shoes and think what they might have felt or how they feel at a particular point. And because I personally faced racism, I do understand what it feels to be treated a certain way. That helped me broaden my own thinking and understand what it is that someone might face when they are discriminated against. I became more accepting of different races, different cultures, different people of different skin color, and even the LGBTQI community. A couple of years back, there was a ballot here in Australia where they wanted people to vote to legalize gay marriage or not. I obviously voted yes, and I jumped in joy when the results were out and most of Australia had voted yes. Now, this might not be a huge deal for a lot of people, but when you don't come from that background and you actually change and you realize what is correct and what's not, and you are happy that this actually happened in the country that you're living, it shows immense mental growth, and I would not have got that again in my comfort zone. Now, how many of us have been to a supermarket and not been able to afford something that we want? I went through that when I came here first because I didn't have much money, and the learnings that you get from that shallow feeling is something that stays with me even today. That helps me be so humble about money. It keeps me so grounded, and it also motivates me on a daily basis, because deep down I'm that kid who walked into a supermarket and knew that he can't buy certain things just because if he did buy that, he might not be able to afford rent or might not be able to afford eating out or something. So these lessons would never ever have come being in my comfort zone. And how do you put a price on that type of lesson? It taught me the power of courage. It taught me the power of discipline and persistence, because someone who comes from being a dishwasher and making something out of his life definitely had to be disciplined and be persistent. It taught me the power of putting in heart and taught me the power of never ever giving up. It also taught me that life always works out, but you need to respect life enough for that to happen. Because of all the struggles I faced, it brought me to a point where I actually discovered my real passion, which was to inspire people through writing and making these videos. These two particular aspects bring me immense joy and pleasure, and how do you put a price on that? Now, everything in life comes at a cost, and the cost to me was something I can never get back, and that is time. Time with my friends, time with my family, my cousins. I haven't been there for birthday parties, I haven't been there for festivals, I haven't been there for my friends having their first kid, I haven't been there when my friends have lost their parents. And one of the hardest things for me to accept is that people actually move on. I realized this a couple of years back and I just could not accept it. It really hurt me and it was a tough pill to swallow. But I thought to myself that this is my choice. I decided to move away. My choice to go home maybe once or twice a year. Sometimes it's not by choice, sometimes it was because I could not afford it. But the world moves on, and that kind of sometimes really hurts. And what can I say? It's just something that sometimes I still struggle to accept. So is it worth it? I don't know. For me, I really can't say even now, because things that I've learned, the growth that I've had, I would never have had it at home. But the things that I've given up is something that's been very dear to me. And I do regret it sometimes. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I think that, look, you've learned so much. You've come such a long way from where you were. You have faced insecurities. You've overcome your insecurities. You've become such a strong person. But what price do you put on your family, your friends, your parents, time with them? That's never going to ever come back. It's just something that you have to accept, something that you have to move on from. My advice to anyone who's planning to move overseas: if you're someone who's really close to your family, have lots of friends, close to your parents, this probably isn't the best thing for you. But if there is an opportunity, you must try and go overseas, probably for a couple of years. Get the experience, understand what it is to live by yourself. The growth comes only if you are willing to learn. If you want to be in your comfort zone, if you want to keep taking money from your parents and living a comfortable life, you won't probably learn much. But if you're willing to actually go out there and put in your heart, put in your soul, put in hard work, there are things that you will learn that you would never learn in your comfort zone. But for someone who is not that close to their family, don't have many friends, it is the best experience that you can have, because you go away, you get to start fresh, meeting a new set of people, having new experiences. And I've seen friends here who have had quite a restrictive life in their homes, and they have had an absolute blast here. They love the freedom, they love everything about moving to another country and starting a new life. Anyways, I hope I've made sense and I hope you find this helpful. Please do like and subscribe. I promise I'll try and make it worthwhile.